Hello, and thank you for watching. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about The Artist Who Lied. The Artist Who Lied by Ren X. Now, let me share with you a message I received from a person by the name of Luke. He says this: Hello, David. I very much like watching your YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, Luke. I appreciate that you do. He says, do you know the book The Artist Who Lied by Ren X? By the way, it's available at Penguin Magic. I will put the link below so you can see that. His real name is Taren Rohovit. I'm very impressed by the deep thoughts he has put into his book, particularly since he is still very young. It must have driven him nearly crazy. In my opinion, this book has not received the attention it deserves. Maybe you would be willing to review it on your channel. That would be great. Many thanks, my friend. Keep up the good work. Regards, Luke. Thank you so much for asking, Luke. Wait, I didn't know the book existed until Luke recommended it. I went to Penguin Magic immediately. I immediately picked it up. It's not expensive. Let me read to you the copy from the back cover. The connection between deception and art dates back to some of the earliest philosophers. How does the consideration of magic and art form that seemingly relies on deceit change the conversation? The Artist Who Lied is at its core a proposal for an aesthetic theory of magic and the general use of deception as a tool in art. What does it mean to lie with art? Is it possible to do such a thing while maintaining a strong moral compass? Ren considers all these questions and many more in this intimately philosophical title. Well, let me first of all, it reads better than it sounds that this person has a gift for being able to take extremely highbrow cerebral concepts and make them palatable to the average person, which is a gift. And he's gifted, and he's able to do that. But I think at its core, he's asking the question, how do you feel about deceit, lying as a magician? And he deals with that question in a very philosophical way, exploring the relationship of deceit and art in general, and then deceit and magic specifically. And I appreciate that. But let me share just some of my own thoughts here on this subject. If you feel guilty about what you're doing as a performance artist, your art form, the product that you're producing, is going to suffer for that. However you do it, whether you do it his way, which is a philosophical approach, or you simply do it the way magicians have done it for centuries, which is the Robert Houdin approach. And by that I mean this. Robert Houdin said, and you already know what I'm going to say, because every magician knows it. A magician is an actor playing the part of a magician. If you're an actor, and that's what you internalize, I don't think you're going to have the conflict that he is getting at here. At least I don't. Let's put it that way. I remember when I was coming up in magic and I was a part of the Assembly 6 SAM, Joe Bruno and George Dempsey were my mentors and friends that were also members of that organization. And I remember I was doing some magic. I even remember the exact routine. It was a routine in which I was using a device. It was a brass device that when you put the lid on, it shot a tube into your hand that had the signed bill. So it was a bill to impossible location. So you'd push this thing down here, and you'd hand it to a participant, and the participant thinks that they're holding the tube with the signed bill in it, when in fact it's in your hand. And I had a bill tube in my hand. Now, if you're not familiar with that, a bill tube is a brass device that it spins shut, and it has a bolt through it, and there's a padlock on it. But the device can be loaded without having to go through the top. So that's a bill tube. So I reach into my pocket. I hand this device to this person over here. I reach into my pocket, and I pull out the bill tube and hand it to this person over here. Now that's a very poorly constructed magic routine. But in addition to being a poorly constructed magic routine, I rushed. Once I handed the tube, I rushed, and I telegraphed to my audience, who happened to be magicians, that I was doing something. And Joe Bruno said to me, after, at these meetings you do your effect, and then people critique it, and that very often happens. And so after the routine, Joe Bruno says to me, "Don't run when no one's chasing you." And that was a game changer for me. It was a game changer. But what was even a greater game changer was when I started to study acting. And I came across this school of acting that many of you know as the method. Method acting. And in method acting, you internalize everything as real. You're experiencing. I think Doug Henning is probably a great example of a method actor on stage. He's experiencing his magic as real at the moment the magic's happening, and so we all are brought into that experience. And if you, I believe, at least for me, approaching magic as a method actor has made all the difference in the world. I'm very comfortable because I'm playing a part, you see. I'm not deceiving someone. Magicians often feel this guilt that he's getting to. Magicians often feel this. I'm not sure why. If you were an actor and you were on stage and you were portraying Hamlet, right? Would you feel the need to stop during the play and say, "Audience, I apologize if I'm deceiving you. I'm not really Hamlet. I'm actually an actor playing the part of Hamlet"? You would never do that. It would ruin the play. So why do you feel the need to apologize for what you're doing on stage as a magician? It's just, you're an actor. Be an actor. Now, the book is actually extraordinary. I would say that, yes, it should be read. Let me try to give you some sense for what's here in the book. I love this at the beginning where he talks about his own disillusionment in magic. It was all fake. I remember a brief period of disappointment as my hopes to become a real-life superhero were crushed. But strangely, I was more intrigued than disappointed. When I first witnessed magic being done, I was drawn to the impossible and mysterious nature of it. There was something about it that seemed to transcend everyday life. Isn't that what we're trying to accomplish? What I practice, he says, is deception. I'm delighted to show you how beautiful deception can be. However, I'm also aware of its moral risk. See, well, he deals with that moral risk in the book. This book arose from my personal struggle with the question of how to morally deceive someone. I am primarily interested in making a pragmatic argument for how deception can be used in art, It's no secret that deception is traditionally characterized as an immoral practice. So in this final section, I'll raise an argument as to why we might make an exception to this moral judgment in the case of using deception, in particularly in instances of art. Not only am I going to explain the utility of deception, but I'm going to advocate that you actively participate in more deceptive practices. Humans don't care about truth, we care about beliefs. If deception is merely presenting a version of reality that is not perfectly true, then humans are being deceptive almost all the time without even realizing it. I find the use of deception for the purpose of creating art to be perhaps the most interesting application of deception. My ultimate goal is to make these ideas useful to you in the creation of your art. If there is truly an important connection between art and deception, then the appreciation of this connection should enhance our abilities to create good art. So that gives you a little flavor, a little taste of where he's coming from, and then he goes on to develop his arguments. And you know what? I appreciate where he's coming from. I appreciate what he's doing. But once again, I guess, you know, in reflecting on what he's trying to get at, we all have to come to grips in some way, shape, or form with what we're doing as performance artists. But I just think that actors have to deal with that. As actors are portraying something. They're portraying someone that they're not. They're portraying situations that either don't exist or they're fictitious. A writer, and by that I mean a novelist or a short story writer, is creating a fictitious story. And as performance artists, as magicians, we're creating a fictitious scenario for our participants. I like to think that those that are participating with us in the magic, our spectators, our audience, that they understand the rules of theater, because this is a theatrical performance art. It is not. We're not portraying something that is meant to be taken as gospel fact. We're not. We're doing something for purposes of entertainment. Anyway, listen, Luke, I thank you so much for recommending the book to me. I thought it was exhilarating, is stimulating, encouraging. I think this person, let's put it this way, I think Ren X, his cerebral capacity is well beyond my own. I just think he's a very intelligent person who's done a lot of deep thinking about this subject. And I found the reading fascinating, but also challenging at times. I highly recommend it to you. Please pick it up. Please take a look. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment down below. Please subscribe if you've not done so already. I will see you next time. Have a great day.